There are times when we buy a bunch of dill that is very fresh and fragrant, but only use a small amount to make fish soup, cook eggs, or add to a potato dish. After the rest has been left in the refrigerator for a few days, it begins to wilt, the leaves turn yellow, and sometimes it even becomes slimy and has to be thrown away, which is such a waste. If your family often has the same problem, today Mary will share with you 3 very simple ways to store dill. One way is for using it within a few days, one way is for gradually using it in everyday cooked dishes, and one way is very convenient for soups, broths, or fish dishes. First, we need to prepare a bunch of fresh dill. When buying dill, you should choose a bunch with a natural green color, tender leaves, not too many yellow leaves, no signs of spoilage, and stems that are not bruised or damaged. The fresher the dill is, the more fragrant it will remain and the longer it will keep after being stored. Now I will remove the yellow leaves, wilted leaves, and any parts of the base that are too old. If any section of the stems is bruised or slimy, I remove it as well, because even one damaged part of the dill can cause the entire container to spoil more quickly. After that, I wash the dill. You can gently rinse it under running water or soak it in a basin of clean water for a few minutes so that the dirt and sand can settle at the bottom. Because dill has very small and delicate leaves, I do not rub or squeeze it while washing. Simply move it gently through the water, lift the dill out, change the water, and rinse it again until it is clean. Which beautiful country are you watching this video from? Please leave a comment and let me know. One very important point is that after washing the dill, we must make sure it is completely dry. This is a step that many people often overlook, but it determines whether the dill can be stored for a long time. I spread the dill out on a clean towel or paper towels, gently arranging it so that there is enough space for air to circulate. Then I use another layer of towel to gently absorb the moisture from the top. Do not press or squeeze it too hard, because dill leaves are very thin, and pressing too hard will bruise them. If you have time, you can leave the dill in a well-ventilated place for about 15 to 30 minutes so that it can dry more naturally. Once the dill is completely dry, I will now divide it and store it in 3 different ways. The first method is to store the dill in a container lined with paper towels. I prepare a clean, dry container with a lid. At the bottom of the container, I place a layer of dry paper towel. Then I arrange the dill in the container, handling it gently and not packing it too tightly. If you have a large bunch of dill, you can divide it into 2 layers. Each layer should have a thin sheet of paper towel to absorb some of the excess moisture. After arranging the dill, I place another layer of paper towel on top and close the lid. This paper towel will help absorb excess moisture inside the container, so the dill does not become too damp, turn yellow quickly, or become slimy. Place this container in the refrigerator. When you need to use the dill, take out only the amount you need, then close the lid again right away. If, after a few days, you notice that the paper towel inside has become very damp, replace it with a new sheet of paper towel. What Mary likes most about this method is that the dill still feels fresh, the leaves do not become too dry, and its natural fragrance remains. This method is very suitable for families that use dill regularly throughout the week. The second method is to chop the dill and freeze it in a glass container. Mary finds this method very convenient for those who cook often but do not want to wash and chop the dill every time. Once the dill is dry, I gather it into small bunches and chop it. You can cut it to the length you usually use when cooking. There is no need to chop it too finely, just enough so that it is convenient to take out and add to your dishes. Next, I prepare a clean and completely dry glass container. If the container is still damp, the dill will be more likely to develop ice crystals when frozen. I place the chopped dill in the container and spread it out gently without pressing it down too tightly. If you want it to be easier to take out, you can divide it into small portions or simply leave it loose in the container. Then I close the lid tightly and place the container in the freezer. When you need to use it, simply open the container, take out a small amount of frozen dill, and add it directly to the hot dish. There is no need to thaw it first. For example, when making fish soup, rice porridge, potato dishes, or egg dishes, add the dill near the end of cooking to preserve its fragrance. A small tip is that after the dill has been frozen for a few hours, if you notice that it has stuck together slightly, you can take the container out and shake it gently. This will help the dill remain looser and make it easier to take out and use later. This method does not preserve the dill's appearance as well as fresh dill, so it is not suitable for garnishing salads or cold dishes. However, it is very convenient for everyday cooked dishes. Each time you need it, simply take out a small spoonful. There is no need to wash it, no need to chop it, and nothing goes to waste. The third method is to make frozen dill cubes. This method is very useful if you often use dill in dishes with liquid, such as soups, fish dishes, broths, or light stews. I still use dill that has been washed, dried, and chopped. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, you can press the subscribe button to support me. Then prepare a clean ice cube tray. Place the dill into each small compartment of the tray without pressing it down too tightly. Next, I add clean water to each compartment, just enough to cover the dill. If you want the dill cubes to be more fragrant and more suitable for pan-seared dishes or sauces, you can replace the water with a little cooking oil or olive oil. But for making soup, Mary finds that using water is the simplest option and works well with the widest variety of dishes. After adding the water to the tray, I place the tray in the freezer until the cubes are completely frozen. Once the dill cubes are frozen, I remove them from the tray, place them in a zip-top bag or an airtight container, and continue storing them in the freezer. Each time you cook, you only need to take out one cube and place it directly into the pot. As the ice cube melts, the dill quickly releases its fragrance into the dish. This method is especially convenient when you do not want to estimate the amount to use each time. One small cube is enough for one pot of soup or one small serving of soup. However, you should remember that frozen dill cubes contain added water, so they are more suitable for dishes with liquid. If you are making fried dishes, dry stir-fried dishes, or dishes that require only a small amount of water, freezing chopped dill in a glass container will be more convenient. If your family often buys dill but does not use it all, try dividing the bunch of dill the way Mary did today. Keep one portion to use fresh, one portion to use gradually for cooking, and one portion to make frozen dill cubes. That way, every time you cook, you only need to open the refrigerator and the dill will already be ready to use, saving time and preventing you from having to regret throwing it away after it has wilted. What dish do you use dill for most often? Fish soup, eggs, potatoes, soup, or something else? Please share with Mary in the comments section. And if you find this method helpful, do not forget to save it so that the next time you have a fresh bunch of dill, you will know how to keep it fragrant and delicious for longer.